She certainly indicted me for nothing, for being a lawyer, for which I am very resentful.
Do you think she's upping the ante by using RICO, I don't know, to get some sort of attention for herself or to get some media attention? Go ahead.
But to a ridiculous degree, to the degree that she's making a fool out of herself. I mean, the end result of Fannie Willis in the annals of the law will be incompetent prosecutor who didn't even know how to get an indictment and didn't realize the case was going to be removed. So she's had her moment of glory, and her place in history will be very different. Let's say mine. Do you know after I was finished testifying, she wanted to meet with me? Because she's always wanted to meet with me because of my great record. This is what she said to me.
Alleged co-conspirator Rudy Giuliani is taken to Newsmax after finally being indicted in Georgia along with his buddy Donald Trump over their plot to overturn the 2020 election that Trump obviously lost. I guess he figures if Trump is seemingly destroying his chances in court by ranting and raving against judges and prosecutors to his MAGA flock, I might as well do it too. What do I have to lose? Well,
Rudy Giuliani has a series of bills around fighting investigations and lawsuits that are really making him essentially out of cash. There's a $20,000 fee for him to keep his electronic records stored so that he can respond to other lawsuits. There's a $57,000 court judgment that he recently received because his company, Giuliani Partners, didn't pay all of its phone bills in 2020 and now have to pay that $57,000 for the unpaid phone bills. There's also a sanction that he's received from another judge in another lawsuit related to the 2020 election of $89,000 for not turning over all of the evidence he needed to, just like in the Smartmatic lawsuit. And so that $89,000, that appears to be just the tip of the spear.
These are the guys that are calling folks pushing for student loan debt relief freeloaders and lazy millennials living out of their parents' basements all the time. All the while, he's got hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt during these legal bills that he just can't pay due to his fealty to one Donald Trump. So I guess they figure, why not just keep attacking those that are attempting to hold him accountable? Well, go ahead on.
They are clearly now not cases. They're not even crimes. This is the First Amendment. This is free speech. It's my acting as a lawyer. I have a right to argue for my client. I even have a right to exaggerate for my client. I have a basis for everything I said. Half of what they wrote about me is false, and they know it. This should all be put off until after the election because it is clearly a violation of his right to run for office.
Sounds like a pretty airtight defense. I have the right to exaggerate for Donald Trump. Well, this is what Rudy thinks exaggerating is. He's up on violation of the Georgia RICO Act, solicitation of a violation of oath by a public officer, false statements in writings, conspiracy to commit impersonating a public officer, conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree, and conspiracy to commit false statements in writings. When you're facing those kinds of charges and you're out of money because you're fighting multiple other cases that are facilitated by this same loyalty to the kingpin, the only option left is to run to Newsmax to convince those viewers that attempting to falsify an American election on 17 different coordinated fronts is all the prosecutor's fault somehow. I guess anything to avoid the dark truth that Andrew Weissman here broke down.
Rudy Giuliani, of all of the defendants, of the major names that we know about, I think is in the most legal peril. Not only is he on tape and there are credible witnesses and transcripts of his false statements to the Georgia legislature, not only is there his bad faith litigation in Pennsylvania, as found by the disciplinary committee in D.C., where they found that he did not have a basis to challenge the vote there. In the civil lawsuit in D.C. before the former Chief Judge Beryl Howell, Rudy Giuliani has essentially admitted and is not challenging the allegations there. So there will be an effort to use that in this case. So he is facing incredibly strong charges, and he cannot be federally pardoned. So he is really facing significant legal peril.
Ugh. It's not looking very good. But don't worry, MAGA. Giuliani's stellar record of persuasive press conferences will definitely derail these RICO charges.
So I'm here on behalf of the on behalf of the Trump campaign. The people you see behind me are just a few of about, I'd say, 50 to 60 poll watchers who will all testify that they were uniformly, we'll wait